Great to be with you again on Locked On Texas Tech on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Always free and available on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts. Chris, great to be back with you for this special edition, Locked On Texas Tech, voices from the YouTube comments. Appreciate all of those out there who are diving into the daily dust up in the YouTube comments section. That's the best way to help us grow the show. So thanks for chopping that wood regularly. And we like to look back to some comments or questions of yours to wrap up the week. And this one's going to be a little bit different, although we are diving in to that YouTube comment section dust up. But you're actually answering a question of ours. But the response was so great, Chris, that we wanted to get into some of these one-word answers to describe your thoughts on Texas Tech heading into 2024. You and I got into this a couple of days ago, and it looked like the viewers understood the assignment.
Well, and we were, we maybe looked at it literally and all that. But my favorite, before you put the graphic up on the screen and show everybody that the different words that were used.
Yeah.
This was a fascinating exercise because I think that you get the wide range of emotions that come with following a college football program, and you get a lot of glass half full, a lot of concern, or a lot of PTSD, or a lot of just
right.
Hope runneth over. I mean, and that's the beauty of it, right? That's the part that we all enjoy about it, is it elicits emotion, and there's just not many things that elicit, because people act a certain way at sporting events. They never act in another way, a walk of life or whatever. And so I just think that when I saw these words, I was like, oh, this is great.
That may be the truest thing you've ever said on this show. People act differently at sporting events than they might.
It's the truth. They say things, they act certain ways. They never would talk to another, but when they're just yelling just into the oblivion, it's like, you never see them doing that in their own living room, or I don't know, or around another crowd, but they do it at a sporting event.
You shed a tear over a light bulb simply lighting up on one side of the scoreboard or another. I mean, it's a wild effect a stadium or arena can have on a man. Anyway, let's get to some of these reactions, your one words as it relates to 2024 Texas Tech football. This comment from, everyone. I'm just going to run down really quickly, Chris. Every word that we had lodged, and you can kind of give me some that stuck out to you. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Results, time, protection with a question mark, climax, loaded, ornery, cautious, early, offensive line 2 times, health 2 times, dangerous 2 times, hungry, measured as in hope, revelations as in Armageddon, fulcrum, elevation, prudent, tentative, underestimated, opportunity, potential, apathetic, audacious, win, and capable. Anything jump out to you among those?
Yeah, some of them, it's like I would need the author to kind of explain the meaning there. But like as we run through some of these, results, I think I gather what it's and maybe the second one there with time, it's time. Like it's we need to see results. So we've there's been a lot of hype and recruiting classes and all that, and they need to see all that. Protection.
Let me give you the explanation from the ones that stood out to you, because I got them right here.
Okay.
Results was from our guy Fernando Bermudez, who said, given all the energy, investment, recruiting, portal ads, depth, coaching staff consistency, 7 home games, favorable schedule, he's looking for results. Laura,
and that's fair.
Laura chimed in with time. She says it's time to step up and be a contender. Pretty simple, right?
Yeah. Okay. Give me the explanation for apathetic and audacious. Those are ones at the bottom. I'm curious there.
Apathetic. This is from Raleigh Sanford, who said, after last September, it's hard for me to get into the summer hype. I'm waiting to see if we actually start 5-0 as we should.
Okay, and that again, that's fair. That's fair. What about audacious?
Audacious, this is from Casey M., who says, because we are making such huge strides in recruiting, NIL, facilities, investment in our programs, I can't wait for the day all of it is vindicated. I'm worried we're going to get back to the same miserable crowing the second we don't go undefeated. Progress.
Okay. I think I understand climax. Again, it's kind of like pointing to a season like this.
Yeah, you do.
And so you're ready to do your thing, pun intended. Like the protection, I think I get that because that's more of an play on words on the offensive line. I think I gather we have O-line, we have health, which relates. I think dangerous is a fun one because I think in some ways you are kind of under the radar a bit, which isn't a bad place to be. Now, I'm going to be clear here. Joey would much rather be the favorite, be talked about, and then go do that and then live up to it than anything. He doesn't want to be the team that's just under the radar at any point. But in the short term, based on last year and then this year, I think you're being slept on a bit. And that's not a bad thing because I do think you are dangerous. I think that when you are seeing these graphics or these conversations about conference contenders, you're listed on some of them and some of them you aren't. And the ones you're not listed on, they're kind of wanting to mention you like, okay, well, what about these guys? And then where you are listed, people are kind of like, well, should they be? And so you're kind of just on the fringe, but I do think you're a dangerous team because if you can figure out the O-line component and you don't have to be great, you just have to be good. And if your quarterback's shoulder feels pretty good and he can stay upright for 10 to 13 games, I think you're very dangerous and you could be in Arlington. Now, could a lot of teams ask a few questions and if they get those answers, could it happen for them? Sure. And but I do think you have some upside here. And I think maybe more upside than a lot of the same teams that may be asking just a few questions. So I love the dangerous and I love measured because this is somebody that's protecting their own emotions. I respect it. Yeah, I'm excited, but it's cautious. I'm not real sure, but can we get to October with a winning record? If so, okay, now I'll start being giddy and all those things. Tentative, same thing. Underestimated kind of goes against or goes with the under the radar kind of component to it.
Let me give you Alejos Anaya gave us dangerous, no explanation. Jesse Ellis gave us dangerous as well. And he said, Tech isn't going to be an easy win for any team this season. So some of what's going along with it there and Measured Hope. I mean, come on, that Measured Hope is my middle name. Casey Measured Hope Cowan. I feel like, so I'm somewhat, I think sort of in line with that one as well.
And we know how we feel about hope around here. It's alive. It's alive. So there's that too. But see, I appreciate the different perspectives here because I think we kind of were all over the place. But you get the cautious optimism. You do get optimism. You get people pointing directly to the question marks on the team. And we, in our words, were I think mine were like barren. Well, that was an obvious. But then you had road. You had one because the one score games. You had the road because you need to be better on the road and all those kinds of things. So anyway, I will say this. After I thought more about, I had somebody bring this up to me. Let's see if I'm off in the wild blue yonder here.
First, today's episode brought to you by eBay Motors. And eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and keep that ride or die ride on the road. Or elevate your car's game to the next level of performance. Superchargers, exhaust kits, LED headlights, roof racks, and accessories of all kinds to fit your style. Whether it's power, speed, or design you're into, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 million parts to perfectly fit what you need. Just head over to ebay.com/motors now, where you'll always find exactly what you're looking for and at no risk because of eBay's guaranteed fit. your part is guaranteed to fit just right every time or your money back, keeping you burning rubber and not burning cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to keep your ride or die on the road and moving your life forward at ebay.com/motors. eBay guaranteed fit, only available to U.S. customers, eligible items only, exclusions do apply.
I had somebody tell me that I trusted that we were talking about Joey's road record, and this is somebody very close to the football program. And we were talking about what a circus their last 18 months has been facility-wise. We don't know where we're officing. We're having to pivot and relocate and figure out how to host a visit, how to host a camp, how to do spring football. Where do we lift? Where is our trainer supposed to be set up? Okay, our offices are here. Now we're going to move them into a press box, and then we're going to tear the building down where they were officing. And then and before the summer, we're going to move the offices, we hope, into the new spot, even though it may not be finished yet. You feel what I'm saying? It's like we can't do our spring game anywhere because we don't have anywhere to do it. And it's just kind of chaotic in this existence. And I'm a routine guy. So being displaced or just dealing with that chaos would drive me crazy, okay? So I bring all that up to say that am I out to lunch if I say, man, maybe without even knowing it and not intentional, but are you more hardened as a potential team or program in general, or maybe even road team, because you've kind of been operating in chaos for the last year. And so maybe it makes you a better road team without even really trying. Am I out to lunch there, or do you buy into that?
I mean, I could buy into some of that for sure. I do kind of think also about, what the road losses looked like last year. BYU, total circus, and some of that outside of your control with the freshman quarterback. Texas, one of the best teams in the country, and just absolutely kicked your ass. Not that that's out of your control entirely, but a much, much better team. What else? West Virginia, you get your quarterback folded in half early on, and then
and then the other one gets hurt too. Yeah. But keep in mind, in that one, you were throwing into the end zone, and if a pass gets caught, give or take, I mean, so anyway.
Well, and I only bring that up to suggest that I don't really feel like, aside from the UT game, I don't feel like Tech shows up on the road last year and is just wetting themselves down their leg out of sheer fear of, being away from home or whatever. Right. Now, again, I probably just sound like a fan that's talking myself into, well, this is why it happened. This is why it happened. That's no big deal. But I don't know. Yeah, and maybe you could buy into some of that in the sense that you've been, sort of displaced. So yeah. I hope we can, and I hope
maybe I'm reaching. I thought about it in those terms. Who knows? But that could be another word we could add on here. Displaced. Because that's
hopefully not a descriptor for a quarterback status. Again, this season,
or one of his body parts. Yeah, exactly.
Right. I got to get to our guy Nick in Portland, who is the one that threw Fulcrum at us. I'm surprised you weren't even curious about Fulcrum. What the hell he was talking about?
I want you to tell me what he said, but my idea was this was kind of like this is going to be a decider, like the Fulcrum's kind of like a teeter-totter, kind of going to go one way or the other. Is that what he means? Right. Okay, that's what I would have thought.
You're plenty warm. He says, to me, this season is a turning point. I kind of thought he'd sort of be talking program-wise or like McGuire era-wise. It actually sort of goes in a different direction, saying, to me, this season is a turning point. It's Big 12 championship or bust. Oh, whoa. Goes on to say, if we want to not get left behind in future realignment that's coming, we've got to perform. This season sets our trajectory, I think. So I was thinking more like coach's job security when he said Fulcrum. He's talking realignment and like bigger picture of the trajectory of the program. I'm wondering how much you buy into that kind of thing, Chris, because I think one thing that gets so overblown when it comes to realignment is your football record. And I know that it's not totally non-impactful, but UCLA went to the Big Ten, boys and girls. I just think that thing gets so overblown, and it's so much more about infrastructure, resources, television market, and/or eyes that will watch you on television, alumni. But I feel like there's so many other things that are above the list or ahead of that on the list. And maybe I'm discounting it a little bit. I don't know. What do you think about that aspect of it? Fulcrum.
I love because that's a highly thought out word there, but yeah, with a pretty deep meaning. It was a very big picture. I mean, the success of your program is going to be heavily discussed or thought about whenever you're kind of, hey, do we bring them along or do we kick them to the curb? But you're not in jeopardy there. I don't think, and I don't think I see it. With the settlement, especially, I don't see like a have and a have not conversation really happening for another. As much as it already. I mean, because if you really want to go there, you're kind of depending on how you view it. You can either consider yourself a have or a have not, I guess, because you're not in one of the two leagues that are the most stable with the most money, and there's a pretty wide discrepancy there. But you are in one of the other two leagues, and it's very vastly different from those four leagues, and certainly one of the leagues you're in than really everybody else.
Well, and you are vastly, I shouldn't say vastly, but you are as good or better positioned within those other two, ACC and Big 12, compared to a lot of your peers in those groups.
Exactly. Yes. So there's a big gap there. But with that, that settlement, I think with the House and NCAA, that's I think like an 8 to 10 year agreement, and all those monies come from the NCAA tournament, and so if there's we're just going to do our own thing, we don't need the NCAA. Well, then you don't get a lot of the funding to pay the, you follow me? So yeah, I think that's part of, all that conversation. But I get the idea. Yes, your football program, you want it to do well. If you go 5-7 this year, it doesn't mean that you're going to get left behind. If you go 12-0 this year, it doesn't mean, like, guess what? You got a bid to the big boy league.
That's a good way of thinking about it.
Yeah, that's right. So the truth is somewhere in the middle. Do you want to sell out season tickets? Absolutely. Do you want to put your best foot forward? Absolutely. Do you want to make sure that your football program is relevant? And to be relevant, you need to win more than you lose. That's why people care, and that's what generates ratings and ticket sales and all the stuff that comes with it. Sure, but yeah, exact record or pinning it down on one given thing, sure, because like you said, Rutgers is in the Big Ten, and UCLA got an invite to the Big Ten, and they hadn't kicked Vanderbilt's ass out of the SEC yet. So yeah, here we go.
Man, appreciate so much all the reaction and all the words, and please keep them coming. If you missed out on this mop up, maybe we'll get you in the next one. So thanks to everybody out there who is always cussing and discussing in the YouTube comments. That's the best way to help us grow the show. Chris, appreciate some bonus time from you, my man. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you.
Absolutely. We will do this again soon. Hope everybody has enjoyed some downtime, and we'll talk to you next time.
Appreciate you guys for being out there. As always, get subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts so you never miss an episode. For Chris, I'm Casey, and we hope to see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.